Now, far be it from me to be the straight hype man for Konami, but I do want to say this. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater's graphics, the way that this game looks so far, from all of the reveals based off of the Unreal Engine 5 footage, keep in mind it's not out at the time of recording this, but I truly believe that this game right now, it looks how a remake should look, or even a remaster. Now, I understand that this is pretty much from the ground up when it comes down to it, and I know that remakes and remasters are different. But the point I'm making is that in today's world with gaming, I've noticed that there is very much this incremental upgrade system where you will see the game just a little bit better. You know, it's like, oh, well, we did The Last of Us remastered. Well, let's, you know, that's on the PS4. Let's put it on the PS5. And it's a different game. And it's not that it looks bad at all, but it's not worlds different, right? Because it already looked good on the PS4. That's my point. Like, it hasn't been that long. You look at something like Silent Hill 2 and the Silent Hill 2 remake that came out and actually was really good, kind of reinforcing my hope in what Konami's doing right now. But you look at the difference between those two, and there's a very big gap. There's a very big difference. Now, you're gonna have people who prefer the original style. I love both, and that's okay. But something I think is really cool about what Konami is doing right now, both with that game and now with Metal Gear Solid, is that these games are getting massive multi-generational jumps in their visuals. Now, visuals don't always make a game great. You know, there are plenty of games that look good that are very shallow. But with a promise to deliver on pretty much everything that made the original game good, now on Unreal Engine 5, and also as well with some expansions to gameplay mechanics and things like this, and the look we just got with Metal Gear Solid Legacy Part 3 from David Hayter and Konami, I'm actually really excited right now, at the moment, for the trajectory of this game, and no matter what, even if it came out terrible, which I don't think it will, I truly do believe that this is what it should look like when a game is remade or brought up into the current day from the past. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you want to leave a like, subscribe, I appreciate that very much. And I do have a question of the day for you, which is, what do you think has been the biggest generational or graphical jump between games? No, I'm talking about like maybe you see a game and then you see its remake, or you see Resistance 1, right? And then you look at Resistance 2. It's not that big there, but there is a jump. I'm just saying, like, anything like that. What do you think it is and why? Because I'd be interested to check that out. Now, personally, I've been really liking what Konami has been doing lately, which is not something I expected to say in the year 2024. You know, I was hopeful that Silent Hill 2 would come out and be a good remake. I was hopeful that Bloober Team would be able to do it, you know, that Konami trusted someone to do it who would do a good job. And honestly, not to throw everyone else under the bus, I get skepticism is fine, but I feel like I was one of the few content creators, at least during that time, where I was pretty positive about what I saw. There was clunky combat, and I said, yeah, Silent Hill 2 was clunky. You know, there was some iffy visuals, and I said, yeah, it's still a work in progress, you know, and also Silent Hill 2, especially if you compare it to things like 3 and 4, it's not actually the best looking game ever either, right? You know, so I was kind of waiting on that, and I was pleasantly happy when that came out and was good. That actually reinforced a little bit more of my hope in Metal Gear Solid Delta, that they know that this matters. And it does seem like with David Hayter so invested and so many looks behind the scenes now at graphics, voice acting, etc., this is a pretty big step up with those things. Now, will it replace the original? I guess that's up to you. I don't believe in remakes replacing the original. I don't even believe in remasters replacing the original. But something that I think is really cool with this game and the graphical route that they're going is that they're not just updating the graphics and changing the camera angle to something totally new and expanding it and calling it a day. They are actually also leaving in those original camera angles that the original had. So you can play the game in multiple ways, and it's been confirmed that the balancing is different depending on what way you play it. Like the AI, the difficulty balancing, those kinds of things, they are going to be different if you decide to play in the classic mode, where you're playing with the classic Metal Gear Solid 3 camera angles, than they are going to be with the new updated mode. because they didn't both function the same. When you're actually looking at characters and you're looking through a different view, those mechanics need to be different, and they're actually taking the time to do that. To me, so far at this moment, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, it is looking like one of the prettiest games out there that I've probably ever seen. Now, the one concern I have when you make something look real is what will it look like in the future? You know, that I think that's kind of an issue that we've seen. When you go back to games that are ridiculously stylized, not in a bad way, but I just mean like they're so stylized that they look nothing like real life, other than pixel count, you know, other than just the graphical fidelity of what the system or PCs or whatever could do at the time, that game usually holds up well. I always point back to it, and whether you love the series or not, it's kind of irrelevant, but look at a game like Borderlands, you know, look at the stylization of those, honestly, of the whole series. That holds up. Whether you love the game or not, it holds up visually, and you know why? Because it looks like a cartoon. You know, so when you go this realistic route, I do think that's a fair question is, hey, in 20 years, are we going to be having the same conversation? I don't know. But I do know that right now, this is an extremely impressive show of what modern technology can do. And it also goes to show what remakes, remasters, all these different things should look like, in my opinion, because they should be worlds different. If you want to port a game up, like a straight port, you increase the graphical fidelity and you just bring it up, maybe you add some trophies and achievements, and now it's more accessible to people, like some of the games from PS2, PS3, you know, that are getting brought to PS5, or even some of the games on the original Xbox infrastructure that have had their visual fidelity cleaned up, maybe some new textures added, etc. Things even like Assassin's Creed 1, you know, where it's been cleaned up, fixed up, made to look better, but it's not a remaster. Cool. That's awesome. You know, that's a port, or you've made it backwards compatible or whatever, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. But there are so many games that have been remastered or remade in the last 10 years that don't actually look that different than the original, or in some places look worse. You know, the new Until Dawn remaster, whatever you want to call it, I personally don't think it looks better in a lot of places. I mean, some things do, but I actually prefer the style of the original. I actually think that some of the things in the new one aren't that great. And either way, it's not worlds apart because it's really only one console generation apart from itself. It was kind of the same for me with The Last of Us as well. Even if you look at something like Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, again, maybe you love this series, that's cool. I'm not going after the series, but what I am saying is that when you look at the graphics, you look at the fidelity of it, other than taking some of the characters from the second game, you know, some of those character models and pretty much incorporating them into the first, making things a little cleaner, clearer, etc. This was already a PS4 game, right? And it already was backwards compatible on the PS5. So it makes you wonder, like, is this really a big enough jump to substantiate going back? I don't feel that way with Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Assuming it runs well, you know, which is my one concern as well, with it being on Unreal 5, and also, of course, as well with them saying it's already enhanced for PS5 Pro, which when I hear, I'm saying, okay, well then how does it run on the standard PS5 everyone's gonna own? Other than that, I'm thinking this looks amazing. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below about the whole video. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the graphical fidelity of this game? I thought this game looks really good. I actually thought Silent Hill 2 Remake looked really good. I know they're from different studios, they're just both Konami games. If you want to help support this channel, we have a Fortnite code, which is DJAY123. You can also use that same code for 10% off your first purchase on our website, cosmobunny.shop, where we sell coasters, keychains, trays, and more from repurposed, recycled comic book, manga, magazine, and more paper. We take this paper from books that aren't able to be sold because they're damaged. We actually take them, we transform them into new art for your home, create something new out of them, and we hope you enjoy that. Every purchase goes to help support our channel, and of course, as well, we have other channels in the description down below, like Degenerate Plays, where we're playing through games. We actually played through a couple Metal Gear games over there. We're gonna play through more, and a lot more. So we appreciate you. Have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shway.